All right, joining me now with Jeff Moon. He's a former assistant U.S. Trade Representative for China Affairs at the National Security Council and currently the president of the consulting firm China Moon Strategies. Jeff, your reaction to what we've seen so far?
Well, this is the second of 2 days of negotiations. There were basically three tasks for this particular round of negotiations. The first was to review the bilateral issues that are out there. The second was to come up with some concrete steps so that we can move the relationship forward. And the third was to manage domestic opinion in their own countries to prepare people for some advancement in the relationship. We don't know what's happened with the first two yet. I suspect there will be some kind of progress, but I'm very disappointed on the third front and what happened yesterday. You know, we expect our national leaders to serve our national interests. And in this case, the national interest is to somehow find a way to coexist and move the relationship forward. And by diverting attention with the barbs and everything else, really that has undermined, that has catered to domestic audiences of the officials, but it has undermined support for the compromises that are going to be made in order to move the relationship forward. So the Chinese side, for example, wants the Americans to remove all of the sanctions that Trump imposed. And my question is, do you think that that episode helped or harmed that cause? I suspect that it harmed that cause. And so therefore, I really don't think they've been serving national interests. And I hope they get more serious and less theatrical today.
And you know, there's two issues here. One is tone, the other is substance. And I'm just wondering, if the tone is not right, can you make a difference or any kind of headway on substantial issues?
Well, the tone, I think, in public needs to be toned down. Quite frankly, the public also got insights into U.S. China diplomacy and why it is so difficult to move forward on issues, because the tone that we saw in public yesterday frequently appears in private. And you also saw in the video, which is available on the internet, how the discussions are conducted through translators. So they're very wooden and impersonal, and the tone frequently goes sour. And so that is why it is so difficult to look each other in the eye and try to come to a real resolution on things. I agree that that is a problem, but that's been there for decades in the U.S.-China relationship, in my experience as a former diplomat.
And do you see a shift from what we saw in the Trump administration when it comes to China? I mean, it certainly didn't seem like it, judging from what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I'm hoping that yesterday was an aberration. I think that on the Chinese side, there was an effort to sort of startle the U.S. into changing the tone from the Trump administration. They really didn't need to do that because Trump and Biden are so different. I think the Chinese wanted to wall off various issues so the U.S. wouldn't raise them, but they knew that Hong Kong and Xinjiang and human rights, were going to be raised. And I think there was an attempt to test and perhaps try to intimidate the people on the American side, and that's obviously not going to work. These people have been there for a long time, and actually both sides have known each other for years as well.
And what will you be looking for, Jeff, from these discussions today? Do you think they will be just as confrontational? Do you think behind closed door things change?
I think that after yesterday, both sides took a deep breath, got a little bit of sleep, realized how unproductive that public exchange was, and that they will get down to real work, and they will come up with some concrete steps. So those will be things like officially blessing the informal discussions between John Kerry and Xie Zhenhua and related officials on climate change, for example, and other transnational issues. It's transnational issues where we can make the most progress in the short term. These are global issues where both countries have a major stake. They're both major players, and it's in both of their interests to work together.
Yeah.
So that's climate change, public health, non-proliferation, North Korea, things like that.
And the Chinese keep saying they're not going to compromise when it comes to matters of national sovereignty and security. Is that pretty much a non-starter for the United States? And how do you get past that?
This is a venue where at the beginning of a negotiation, you present your maximum positions. So, and that's one of the important things about this meeting, to get the maximum positions out there and define views. I think we need to move forward, and that's why domestic opinion is so important, not hardening domestic opinion against compromise. And then these are professional diplomats that have been at this for a long time, and I think that they can work forward and maybe try to move toward some accommodation. There are things that can be done in the relatively short term to improve relations, people-to-people relations, exchanges, journalists, things like that. So there are possibilities for creativity that have yet to be explored, or maybe hopefully they're being explored now, and we'll hear some results.
We'll see possibilities for some creativity. I'll hold you to that, Jeff. Jeff Moon, thank you very much.